We're now on page 7 of the Value Finding Appraisal Report. We're on the section that's auto-populated, and it gives us the unit value, the value of the land taken, site improvements taken, cost to cure, temps, and the total fair market value estimate. What follows next is the next USPAP standard, which is 2-2 AX5, which has summarized the information analyzed and the reasoning that supports the analysis, opinions, and conclusions, including a reconciliation of the data and approaches. To comply, this USPAP standard is going to take pages of the Value Finding Appraisal Report. This is where we get into the information that actually supports all of those auto-populated estimates that we just reviewed. So first is the valuation of the whole as a vacant site. And in this paragraph, it says we're using the sales comparison approach. And we're going to develop a unit value of the land as a vacant site, and we're going to allocate that to the land taken. We use an adjustment grid, which is shown here. These sales are going to have the same or similar highest and best use and are going to be as similar as possible in physical and economic characteristics to the whole property. And we used 3 sales. They're identified on the top axis, and on the vertical axis are the features that we're comparing. So we've got the subject, sale 1, sale 2, and sale 3, and we're going to look at things like location, sale date, sale price, size, unit price, property rights conveyed, and so on. And what you're going to see is on each of these sales, 1, 2, and 3, you're going to see equal signs, which means the comparable is similar to the subject. If you see a plus sign, means the comparable is inferior to the subject and an upward adjustment or an upward consideration is required. And if you see a negative sign, that means the comparable is superior to the subject, requiring a downward consideration. The data sheets for these sales are in the addenda section of the appraisal. Moving on to page 8, we continue with the grid. Then we get to the analysis of sales and the reconciliation. All sales are similar in size, use, zoning, and utilities to the whole property. Of these sales, sale 1 is the least similar to the property. It's older in time, has much more road frontage, and is furthest away from the property. Sales 2 and 3 are given equal weight. Their location is similar to the subject property and are recent in time to the subject. Sale 2 has a unit value of $12,400 an acre. And sale 3 is $11,320 an acre. They indicate a unit value of $12,000 an acre for the whole property as a vacant site. Unit value conclusion for the whole property is $12,000 an acre, which then leads us into the next section, which is the part taken, the fair market value estimate for the land taken. And we have 2 considerations in here. We had a PRO conversion, which means before the taking, 0.405 acres existed by standard highway easement, and the property owner retained an underlying interest in that easement-held area. This 1WD acquisition is taking those remaining property rights. We are compensating the property owner for $1 based on instruction from the Ohio jury instruction, which is you pay a nominal amount for any PRO taking. The secondary taking is a net take area containing 0.149 acre. We're going to value that at $12,000 an acre, which is the value of the whole as a vacant site, ignoring project influence. And so the $12,000 an acre is multiplied by 0.149 acres, which indicates a value of $1,788. And the total then for land taken is $1,789. Next is the analysis of site improvements that are taken. Site improvements within the net take area are fencing along the right-of-way line, a portion of the concrete drive at the stone entrance, stone wall and pillars along either side of the drive entrance, an electronic metal gate at the drive entrance that's attached to the walls, and 5 trees at various locations near the existing right-of-way line. Fencing, 4-foot-high vinyl covered fencing in good condition, runs along the State Route 73 road frontage except at the drive entrance. Fencing is in good condition, having an estimated physical deterioration of 10%. Therefore, it retains 90% of its value. Portion of the fence that encroach into existing right-of-way, and ODOT has instructed the appraiser to ignore those encroachments, which creates a hypothetical condition. Compensation for the fence was based on replacement cost estimate provided by Automatic Gates Plus, a local contractor specializing in this kind of improvement. And so the analysis is cost new was $11,440 divided by 559 feet. Gives us $20.47 per lineal foot. If you remember in one of the previous modules, the actual amount of fencing, though, was 519 feet, not 559 feet. So that 519 feet is multiplied by the $20.47 per square foot, and we multiplied that by 90%, which is the value retained by the fence. So I move this on to the next page, and you can see that on the bottom, we actually did the math. The 519 lineal feet of fencing times $20.47 times 0.90 equals $9,562. Stone wall and pillars, I'm not going to read that word for word because we've already gone over that in a previous module, but we used the Marshall Valuation Service, came up with a unit value of $60 per cubic feet. There were 162 cubic feet taken. They were in good condition, so they retained 90% of their value. So their contributory value was $8,748. Driveway, 200 square feet were taken. And again, the Marshall Valuation Service was used. The estimated unit cost was $4.56 square foot. That driveway was racked, showed a lot of wear and tear. We estimated physical depreciation of 50%, meaning that it retained 50% of its value. So if you look below where the math is at, so we have 200 square feet of concrete drive at $4.50 a square foot times 0.50 indicates $456 contributory value of the driveway taken. There were 5 trees taken, and those divided into 2 larger trees, having a unit value of $1,940 each. And the smaller trees had a unit value of $710 each, indicating contributory value of $3,880 for the larger trees and $2,130 for the smaller trees. And finally, the gate was taken, which is 30 feet long. There was a cost estimate provided by Automatic Gates Plus. The gate was in pretty good condition. So the gate had a cost new of $10,430, retained 90% of its value, which indicated a contributory value for the gate that was taken at $9,387. And so if we total all of those improvements that are taken, it totals to $34,611. Next is an analysis and estimate of compensation for the nominal cost to cure. And on this fence, the stone walls and pillars and the gate were all security features for the property, and a cost to cure was considered. To install these security measures on the residence cures nominal based on the cost of these items less the amount already paid for the site improvements gives us the numbers that we want to use. The fencing, we paid 90% in part taken for the site improvements. So what's left is 10%, and that is $1,062. Get on to the next page with nominal cost to cure. The stone walls, pillars, paid 90% for the part taken. Site improvements, we give them another 10%. That will give them enough money to replace, which is $972. Cap on the wall and pillars, $50, and the gate, $1,043. The total nominal cost to cure is $3,127. Next is the temporary easement that's taken. That temporary easement contains 0.151 acres. It abuts the 1WD take along the State Road 73 frontage for 18 months. Doesn't adversely affect the residue. Project will construct a new drive entry within the T area. Compensation for the temporary construction easement is land rent duration. The rent's estimated using land capitalization methodology, which is renter income equals value times the capitalization rate. In this equation, income derived from land is considered safe. The land capitalization rate of 8% is appropriate. And the value will be based on the value of the residue. It's assumed the residue value of the land is the same as the site before the taking, as no damages are obvious. This is an extraordinary assumption. follows then is the estimate for land rent for 1.5 years. The analysis, 0.151 acres taken times the unit value of the residue at $12,000 an acre times the land capitalization rate of 0.08%. Just that portion of the equation gives us a land rent for 12 months, but in this case it's at 1.5 years or 18 months. So we multiply that by 1.5, which gives us an estimated compensation for the temporary construction easement of $217. What follows next is the total compensation estimate, which is $39,744. That compensation estimate includes part taken, land and site improvements, nominal cost to cure, and temporary easements. Up until this point, the property before the taking has been analyzed and valued. Now the value finding form requires the appraiser to analyze the residue. What the form requires is a description, the appraiser to describe the takings and summarize the effect of the take on the residue property. First part of that is description of the take. There were two takings, which are 1WD and 1T. 1WD is perpetual taking of all property rights except leaving the right of ingress and egress to State Route 73. It takes 0.554 acres along the property's entire frontage of State Route 73. That includes the remaining owner-held rights in 0.405 acres of PRO, leaving 0.149 acres that are net of any PRO. Site improvements in the take include chain link fencing, concrete drives, stone wall and entry, electronic metal gating, 5 trees. 1T, temporary needed for grading, seeding, and drive entrance reconstruction during the construction phase of the project. Duration is 18 months, starting when ODOT enters onto the property. The taking abuts the net 1WD taking that runs along the entire width of the property along State Route 73. When the T taking is ended, the property is encumbered by the T and will be in a condition similar to what it was before the take. The area of the residue, the gross area, is 4.637 acres, which is the same as the net because there is no PRO. It's time for another knowledge